David's defeat of Goliath was huge. It was a morale booster, it did great things, but it also got him the attention of Saul, who is the king. And as you will see right here, the title of this chapter, Saul's jealousy of David. So what ends up happening is, after David had finished talking with Saul, Jonathan, which is Saul's son, became best friends with David. He just was like, this guy is amazing. From that day, Saul kept David with him and did not let him return to his father's house. Whatever Saul sent him to do, David did so successfully, and Saul gave him a high rank in the army. This pleased all the people and Saul's officers as well. Well, then they start singing songs. Saul's killed this many, but David's killed this many. And Saul is already not in his right mind with this evil spirit that's been bothering him, and he starts becoming quite crazy. And one of the things he does is, David's over there playing his harp to soothe him, because now he's around the palace all the time, and Saul, out of nowhere, grabs a spear and throws it at David. And so all of a sudden, David's like moving. Saul's trying to kill him. And Jonathan's trying to be the go-between. So he's trying to make peace constantly. David had also married one of Saul's daughters. So now he was actually part of Saul's family. Finally, it got to the point where things were too dangerous for David to stay with Saul anymore. Saul was trying to kill him all the time. Jonathan, again, is trying to be the go-between, the mediator, and he says, David, I don't know why you're so worried. I don't really think he's going to kill you. And David's like, you know what? I can't stay in there anymore. He is going to kill me. And why don't you, if you think that he's not going to kill me, you go talk with Saul, your dad, and ask him something about me. And I will wait out here in a field. And what's going to happen is, I know he's going to be mad at me and he's going to want to kill me. But the way you can tell me is, I'm going to wait way out here in the field. If he answers you nicely and you feel like it's safe for me to come back, then you take your bow and arrow and shoot it. And shoot it a certain amount of distance if it's safe, a different amount of distance if it's not safe for me. And he ends up shooting the arrow a certain amount of distance. What is it? I don't know. I'll have to find it. Well, time passes, and David is leading a band of his own men now. Saul's got his men, and now David has his own men. Saul is still the king. He's not under the Lord's blessing anymore. Saul begins to go after David. He's trying to hunt him down and kill him. He's taking hordes of men, all his army, to go after David and his group of men, and he wants David dead. Well, David keeps eluding him, and one day, David's waiting up in a cave. This is a very long, deep cave. And Saul comes up there to use the bathroom in the cave. David comes up behind him, unbeknownst to Saul, and cuts off a corner of the bottom of his robe, and then sneaks back in even further. As Saul gets out of the cave, later on, David comes out of the cave and says, Saul, I was just here, and I could have killed you. See, the corner of your robe is in my hand. And Saul looks down and, oh my gosh, he has a corner of my robe. He said, I will not kill the Lord's anointed. Okay, I can't do this thing. God has put you as king. I'm not trying to take that from you. Stop coming after me. And Saul has a change of heart. But Saul's changes of heart don't last very long.